Do you think it will be a slam dunk that Ramaphosa will be the president of the ANC by the end of the year? What do you think of a person like Lindiwe Sisulu's chances, or even the former Minister of Health? I can't remember his name. It's
William Kiese.
yes. What do you think of it? The chances of those two?
Okay, I'm going to put my head in a block here. Yes, I think it's a given. If you look at the current lay of the land vis-a-vis December, because 2022 is a year where we look at things through the prism of a leadership election that happens in December. Everything is pointing towards that date, like we saw in Nasrec in 2017. The first thing that we must remember is that the ANC must get ready for the national conference. And they get ready for the national conference in several ways. Firstly, they audit their provincial branches. And through that audit process, they elect leadership in the different provinces. Now, that is currently in place. It's happening currently. And that is something that we're not paying enough attention to, because approximately 4,000 branches will send delegates to the national conference in December. And those guys are being handpicked through your provincial structures, your provincial general secretaries or your provincial secretaries, they are called, and whoever the leadership are in the different provinces. So that is firstly important, because the president is elected by membership from branches being at a conference. He's not elected by the media. He's not elected by the NEC. He's not elected by anybody else. He's elected by normal ANC members going as delegates. The second important thing to take into consideration is that the ANC will have a national policy conference in June, July. We're still waiting for the venue and the dates, where they have to prepare for the national conference. That is, they must decide which policies are they going to change, which policies are they going to implement, and those kind of things. And then again, we will hear the debates about radical economic transformation. We'll hear the debates about the Reserve Bank, and we'll hear debates about many things. That is a very important issue. And usually the policies that gets adopted is already telling you who is in control of that conference, because it's very much the same people that goes to the policy conference that will go to the national conference. And a week or two ago, Zondo requested some latitude for providing his last reports, and that also gave the president another 2 months delay before he has to present his interpretation and what he's going to do. So that will only happen after the ANC's policy conference. We thought at first it will happen before. That will have definitely an impact on who gets elected, but now it will happen afterwards. And then everything gets ready for the conference in December. Now, the current challenge, as we understand it at the moment, there are one or two people putting their hands up or are being nominated by branches to be president, challenging Ramaphosa. The one is Lindiwe Sisulu, the other one is William Kiese that you mentioned. But it seems to me that the big challenge in the ANC is for the number 2 slot. Who will be the new deputy president? We know that Didi Mabuza wants to get out. He already requested to be relieved of his position and that he would like to be full-time placed in the Thule House. That was not acceded to by the president. We know that Jessie Duarte is not very healthy. She wants out. We know that Ace Magashule has sidestepped, and he's still stepping while he's sidestepping. And I think the big battle is going to be for the top 5 positions and not the presidential position. I think Ramaphosa is fairly safe to be re-elected as president, but the team that will be elected with him will look different. I think people like Senzun Tsunu will have a role in the top six, the new top six. I think Paul Mashatile will have a role. I think there will be a younger blood coming through, because the ANC must now think, and the ANC does, they must think in terms of the next 8 to 10 years when they go into that leadership election. Who's going to be the leadership that they're preparing to take over when Ramaphosa goes, let's say by 28, 29, if he doesn't go earlier, but at least then. 5 years ago, it was a clear-cut thinking in the ANC that will be Malusi Gigaba. But we now know that women, Zondo, money, Guptas, all of those things ended his political career. We now know that Fikile Mbalula, that was also regarded as somebody with capacity to move up, he's not going to be there. So we are now exactly in that phase where the leadership is taking stock about who is electable. And one of the things that is now putting a hurdle in its way is, what do they do with people that are nominated in the Zondo report, like with Gwede Mantashe, the yesterday report on Bosasa? Is it clear that Gwede is in some way involved, but is it going to hurt him? Is he going to provide explanations for the benefits he got? So that long story that I had now tells me that there is, in my mind, no doubt that before Christmas this year, we will have a position where Ramaphosa got his second term as president of the ANC. Maybe just a technical thing. As a state president, you've got 2 terms, limited to 2, not counting if you take over from a previous guy like he did from Zuma. But the ANC president has got no term limit. Previously, there has been an effort to put a term limit on being president of the ANC, but technically there's no term limit. But I think the 2 terms is kind of a given, that one would consider 2 terms as enough.